Vince, thanks for joining us here on a really special question and answer session with you. And you're a client that I've had now we've been going on about 8 months, 9 months working together, and just been a magical journey throughout. You've achieved a physique which people really 10, 20 years younger than you would aspire to. And this interview is really just taking us through your mindset, where you're at when we first started, and just picking your brain in getting some of the mindset shifts that occurred within you and what you've experienced since we've started. So I wanted to start here by just thanking you and then just asking you, before we started working together, what did you honestly think was possible for your physique at this stage in life? Did you have a cap in your mind? Did you think that there was a new ceiling? Where were you at with that?
I I don't know that I thought I had a cap, but I just thought that like I could do more and that there was just something out there that was missing. And when I saw you and sort of the intensity and the focus and the drive that you have, I just looked at myself and I was like, you know what? That's something like I don't have. And sort of a standard of excellence in terms of the way you go about lifting and performing exercises and whatnot. And I just thought that's something I'm missing. And I just felt like let's let's try to move up a level. And when you and I started talking, you even said, hey, I think you could move up a level. And I was like, I had seen you in action, and I was like, cool, let's do it. Like let's move up a level, let's switch into another gear, and let's keep going higher and higher.
Hmm. And what inspired you to want to move up a level? Like what was the spark that actually was the impetus to say, yeah, I do actually want to do this? Because you're a guy that's trained for many years at this point, right? Over 20 years
Yeah,
more.
twenty
Yeah.
five plus years. So I think you always want to progress to the next level, whether it's the next level of a movement, whether it's increasing weight, sort of the rush that you get when you nail a particular movement, or the rush that you get when you sort of move a weight that's super heavy. That was a real struggle to do. It's just amazing. And that sort of rush and that work that you do to get to that point, it never goes away. So it's sort of like as soon as you clear one hurdle with mastering a movement or mastering a weight, you jump up to the next thing and you master that movement and you master that weight and you just keep moving up. So I think that is kind of in there all along. And again, when I met you and sort of saw what you were all about, like progress is the name of the game. And you, again, seem to have levels and gears inside you that I didn't see inside myself. So I was like, let's jump on and try something different.
Yeah. And what had you tried before? And why do you think that maybe it didn't get you to reach this new pinnacle that we've been able to achieve?
I mean, I've done, yeah, I did CrossFit for many years. I've had other online coaches. And I think from each experience, I've learned something each step of the way, which is fantastic. But probably the biggest single thing since I've been working with you, Raf, has been really learning to connect the muscle and the weight together and stop worrying about moving the weight. Before it was, oh, I need to lift this weight. And sometimes to lift the weight, the movement is jerky, you're kind of using the wrong muscles to get it done, and it can kind of be an ugly movement. Where with yourself, it was all about no, no, no. This is the exact muscle that we're training. This is the exact way we want to move it. And if you concentrate on moving that muscle, the weight is almost secondary to it. And it was just a complete reframing of thinking. Rather than just physically moving weight, it's engage the right muscle to do the right thing at the right time so that you can actually make progress. And that has been a complete game changer.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. It's the internal connection, almost not forgetting about the implement that's in your hand, but learning to drive the contraction from the intended muscle. So
Yeah,
just
using the right muscle to do the right thing at the right time. It's not about the ego thing of like, yeah, I could bench 225. Like, who cares? If you're benching 225 and you're using all these other crazy muscles versus using your chest muscles, what's the point of it?
right. Exactly. Was there a time where you looked at your physique or a session that you had in the gym where you're like, "Oh, okay, this is different. I didn't know I could kind of reach this new level."
I would say so. Like, I've always wanted bigger quads, right? And I can remember, it's one thing when you're in the gym and you're lifting and you got a little bit of a pump on and whatnot. You're like, oh, wow, they look really good and whatnot. And like, was one day I'm just kind of warming up and I'm standing in front of the mirror and all of a sudden I look at my quads and I'm like, wow, like they're actually bigger and thicker. And it's not leg day and it wasn't leg day yesterday. And I've only been in here for 10 minutes. So they're not full of anything. They're just bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is really cool. Because I
Yeah,
thought it
so
was going to take me years to get to this point. You know what I mean? And that was after 3 or 4 months.
yeah, so muscle growth. I mean, we've definitely seen some really good muscle growth, and it kind of brings me into the next question here because we've been really data driven from the start, and we've done DEXA scans periodically, and even when we got your DEXA back before our photo shoot, you had a biological age of 29 years old. We hit 10% body fat leading into the photo shoot, and even in our muscle gain phase, a little over 2.5 pounds of muscle in a 9 or 10 week muscle building phase at 58. So, what went through your head when you saw that?
So when we went, the first thing we did was the muscle building
Right.
phase, right? And you had kind of pre-warned me. You're like, hey, listen, if at this point maybe a pound of muscle, would be great. Um, and I honestly didn't have a frame of reference to judge by because I'd never really measured sort of at this level before. So when I went and got the DEXA scan and it turned out to be like 2.5+ pounds of muscle, I just thought to myself, you know what, that's about right. Like, given the level of training and how hard we were pushing, like that was bang on. Like exceeding the 1 pound that we thought we would do and then getting to 2.5, it didn't seem crazy just given the way we were training, the full body splits, always pushing to failure, concentrating on form, really moving the right muscles in the right exercises at the right time. It just felt great, So it almost felt like I studied my ass off for a test and I aced the test. And it was all because of this test prep. So when we got to that point, boom, all that time was just everything was learned, everything was done, took the test, boom, there's the result right there, A plus plus. You know what I mean? The curve wrecker. So it was great. And then on the flip side, when we, scaled down and we're losing weight in prep for the photo shoot, same thing, protocols in place, work, diet, everything changed again. So when that finally hit and landed at 10% body fat, that again kind of felt that same little mini rush of adrenaline again. Test that I studied super hard for, poured all this work into it, nights, weekends, everything else like that. Boom, you come back, you get the grade, and you're like, oh man, this feels really good. So it felt like in both situations, like you had me prepped and ready to go so that when I took the test, boom, the result came back and it was pretty much the number we expected because we put in tons of work leading into that.
So Vince, beyond how you look now, which is massively impressive, what's changed with how you feel on a day to day, right? You've spoken to me about your levels of confidence, which, to our own definition was just like confidence is spilling out of your sleeves. So what's changed in how you feel as you walk around and in all areas of life?
Yeah, and it's funny because, here I am at 58 years old, and it's not like I've ever been a shy person, but I feel like at this point in my life, I probably have the most amount of confidence, whether it be personally, professionally, you name it. Um, Almost an attitude where anything is possible. All we got to do is just sit down, figure out a plan, and just get it done. And it kind of, in a way, starts from the gym, but just kind of carries over into life. And when you kind of have that upward momentum, and it's sort of driven by little daily things that you do and little daily wins, and all those little wins add up over time, and it just keeps going, and it just feels like things can keep going up. It just feels like you can achieve anything.
Yeah. And even, because you told me something that was quite special, which was when we were preparing for the photo shoot, you were kind of reflecting on the fact that you're retiring soon, and this was almost an opportunity for you to redefine the next chapter, get to a peak and have that be like a launching board into your next phase of life. And I found that really fascinating. What sparked that in your brain, and what's caused you to look at this chapter in that way?
So, in a way, sort of, let's call it, the corporate part of my life is going to sunset in the next couple years. And so here I am approaching 60-ish, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I want to retire kind of from the corporate world, but I don't want to just sit around and do nothing. I don't want to move to Florida. I don't want to just play golf. I don't want to just, you know what I mean? And because I do have this passion for fitness and a passion, really, to self improve, I kind of want to convey that passion to others. And I thought, what a better way to kind of move into a second career slash semi retirement than to kind of enter into personal training, so that this way I could help other people kind of achieve the level of fitness and vitality that I have, and I could kind of give back to others. So, in a way, the photo shoot was kind of me putting a stamp out there into the world to say, in a way, I've kind of achieved this level of fitness, this physique, and from here to sort of maintain it and build on it, and then also help others. And kind of one of the cool things is, once we did the photo shoot and I've kind of released some of that stuff into the world out on, Instagram and stuff like that, I've gotten just some really nice messages back from people that I hadn't heard from in years. And, whether, friends, family, people I went to college with, people that I had worked with 25 years ago and stuff like that. And it's nice to hear messages like, "Hey, you've inspired me," or "What did you do to get to that point?" or "How did you get, like, wow, I wish you had looked like this when we were playing football together in high school." You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So, it's kind of cool. So, I feel like it, in a way, has sort of set a stage for me to sort of move forward with this new career, new ambition, and new plan into the future.
That's amazing. And how do you think that this process that we've undergone together kind of shifts how you view aging? Like the next decade or 2 decades of your life, has it shifted your perspective at all in terms of what's possible or what you'd like to do, or just how you view aging in general?
Yeah, I don't view aging as a negative. It's, with each day we're going to get a little bit older. Um, with each year, you might pick up a gray hair here or there. You might pick up a wrinkle along the way. So those things are going to happen. But in terms of how you feel, you can feel great as you age. And kind of the cool thing is that, we're still hitting personal PRs, personal bests, increasing weights in the gym. Um, Mobility and flexibility is really good. So in terms of like how my body feels and how my body moves, I feel probably better now at 58 than I did at 28. So it's almost exciting that I'm moving into the future and at an age where a lot of people are slowing down and having all kinds of issues, and I don't have any of those. So it's an exciting trajectory to be on, and I think if I can help other people kind of get to a similar place and kind of shift the mindset that aging is not a negative, aging is a positive. You take the wisdom that you've learned along the way, you combine that with activity, and boom, you can share that with others. So I think it's awesome.
I love that. I love that. And let's say you could talk to the version of yourself from before we started, if you could have a direct conversation with him, what would you tell him about potentially reaching a new peak or undergoing a process of transformation?
Start today. Start now. I mean, you and I started talking, I think, in February, and we didn't officially bang the gavel until about October-ish.
Yes.
If if I could go back in time, I would have, boom, we would have started in February right away.
Right. So just get on it sooner.
Just just start. The best day to start was yesterday. The second best day to start is today.
Right. And is there a singular moment from our time together that has stood out as the most meaningful to you in your life? Is there any singular moment?
Actually, early on a Saturday morning, I was watching one of your videos, and you shared your story of how you were this, insecure, skinny kid, and what it meant to you to, really start to build a physique and gain confidence. And that your story just inspired me so much. And I was literally driven to tears early that morning listening to it because it really resonated with me. Because also there wasn't a skinny kid inside of me, but there was this chubby kid who was never athletic and you know never got picked first to be on any team and stuff like that. And I really understood where that skinny kid was coming from because I was that chubby kid at the same time. And it really really appreciated you being so open and sharing that with the world. And sort of me understanding that there's that in all of us,
Yeah.
and we can all overcome that person we didn't want to be and sort of create a new version of ourselves.
Yeah. And what does it feel like now when you have people coming up to you who are like 10, 20 years younger, asking you for advice? That contrast from where you were all those years ago to now, like what does that feel like?
Honestly, it feels really cool. I mean, it is just the coolest thing in the world, especially when you get like some 24-year-old kid who comes up to you and just is like, yo, man, how old are you? And you're like, oh, I'm 58. Like, man, you're older than my dad. Like, man, I hope I look like you when I'm your age. Like, what do you like? What do you eat? What do you do? Like, and they start asking all these crazy questions, and it just feels awesome. I mean, it just feels really kind of cool. And and kind of the neat thing about it is the people that are asking those questions, like they legitimately are taking mental notes in their head. You know what I mean? And they kind of want to know, like, wow, like this dude can do it, I can do it. And that's I think the greatest thing in the world. It's like it's not so much that I did anything great. It's like, hey, you can do the same thing too and probably be twice as big as me. Like, party on, my man.
Yeah. And for the people kind of in your age range right now, what would you say to a guy in your age range, successful guy like you are, who kind of feels a bit defeated, like he thinks his physical years are behind him for the most part? What would you say to that guy?
you gotta make a change. And it doesn't have to be huge day one, but you have to start something. One of the best things I sort of mantras I heard was a Chinese philosopher, I think his name is Lao. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that to me is super powerful because you just take a step and then you take another step and another step and you just keep going. Consistency ultimately is what will propel you to success. So it doesn't have to be the world's greatest step. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be a full step, but just take a step, do something, and then keep doing it because consistency will always win over flash this. People love to make, oh, I'll make a list of 10 different things and I'll do every single one of them. Nobody does them all. But if you pick one thing and you just start it, just go for it and keep
Yeah.
going.
And it's never too late.
Yeah.
It's really never too late to make that choice and that journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the best day to start was yesterday. The second best day is today.
Excellent. Thank you, Vince. I appreciate your time and your wisdom and knowledge and all the effort you've put into this path that we've been on together. And yeah, if you have anything else to say, great. And I do appreciate your time.
You are the best, my man. I couldn't do it without you. And just again, I thank you for your expertise, your guidance, your wisdom. You are a master at what you do, my man, Raf. And I just, working with you again, like I said before, making those changes from just lifting weight to really connecting with the muscle and the mindset change. And probably one of the biggest things is this concept of, we didn't really talk about this, but standards. And I love the concept of just maintaining a standard. And then once we maintain a standard, we do work and we achieve a new level. And then we achieve a new standard. And then we do more work and we achieve another level. And we just keep going up from there. And that process has just been amazing. And you've opened a whole world of thinking to me and a whole world of new possibilities. And I will always be grateful for that. So thank you, my man.
My pleasure. And onward and upward.
Yes, absolutely.